Welcome to Cannabis Health Radio, a podcast where we share stories from people around the world who are using cannabis as medicine. The information is meant to raise awareness about the health benefits of cannabis, but should not be taken as medical advice. Now, here are your hosts, Ian Jessup and Corey Yelland.
And welcome to another episode of Cannabis Health Radio. I'm Ian Jessup.
And I'm Corey Yelland.
With a population of just over 2 million, Slovenia is an incredibly beautiful country in Central Europe, just south of Austria, that was part of Yugoslavia for most of the 20th century. One of the leading researchers and cannabis activists in Slovenia is Bozidar Radisic, and I know I've butchered his last name, but he'll help me out. He has helped thousands of patients with cannabis oil and cannabis with great success, and it has convinced him that the best method of treatment for the delivery of cannabis oil is by suppository. Bozidar, thanks so much for doing this. I realize it's later in the evening where you are, but we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Corey has told me a lot of good things about you. Are they all true?
I don't know what she told you about me, but yes, we are struggling to help people now for way over the decade. And in all these years, we somehow figure out, maybe somebody have different experiences, but one of the best ways the best way to applicate cannabis are rectal or vaginal suppositories.
Now explain why that is the best way.
So there are, I think, more reasons. So first reason is that most active compound in cannabis is delta-9 THC. Delta-9 THC is substitute for endogenic cannabinoid, so for anandamide, right? And I think if you keep delta-9 in your body active as long as possible, you will have better results. Because if you applicate cannabis orally, it will turn very quick into delta-11 THC, which is way more psychoactive. You know this if you eat too much cookies or something similar, you know. And I think, therefore, it's not such a therapeutical,
It's not the best approach.
Yes. Thank you. And recent studies, they showed, it's a study on the rats, but, the metabolism is very much similar, that human body have 100 times more CBD in lymph liquid, and 250 times more CBD, its concentration, than in blood, and 100 times higher than of CBD than in the blood. So that means the rectum is all surrounded by lymph nodes and lymph generally, and because lymph is very lipophilic, it means that absorb fats very well. I think this is the reason why the suppositories are way much better than other applications.
So to be clear here, Bozidar, what you're saying is that in rectal application, the CBD concentration rectally versus orally is 250 times stronger and 100 times stronger for the THC.
This is no conclusion from this last Israeli study, because until now all scientists measured levels of cannabinoids, either THC or CBD, in blood, in serum.
Correct.
But now the first study is the content of cannabinoids in the lymph liquid, which is 100 to 250 times higher than in the blood. And we all know that lymph system is main immune system, and we all know that cannabis actually work that way, that it raises immune system, immune response, it balance the body, and so on. And I think we have to make much more research on this in near future.
Bozidar, this is probably, for me, this information, when I first learned this from you the other day, is probably one of the most exciting things that's happened to me in the 9 years that I've been doing this, other than, helping to clear patients, because I have said for the longest time, 95% of the people that I've helped to clear do suppositories morning and afternoon, oral at night. And then there were all the naysayers out there. And I remember being in Prague last year and sitting on the stage with you and Bob Malamede and Jindrak and Janet Sweeney, and Bob saying that we don't know why it works. We just know that rectal works. And, to finally have some kind of solid evidence behind it, or at least an indication of why it works, is really, really exciting.
Yes, I agree, because, but the problem is it's hard to do research on lymph liquid, because you cannot just take as blood from your body.
Right.
So until now, we have to limit this on the animal or research or animals, unfortunately. But I think this is the the future. Also, why even small kids? I explained you about this case from Croatia with the baby 3.5 months old with brain tumor. She was on very high dose of THC, or even older people or anybody can be on high doses of THC if he uses rectal.
Right, because the person is not getting high that way.
Not at all. Not at all. And I think, it will also turn all this Delta 9 into Delta 11. But this process, it will be slowed down very much. So you have longer time, more active Delta 9 THC in your blood circle or in your body available, to defeat the disease.
Right. And for listeners, maybe you could just tell a little bit more about this little girl. So she was 3 months old and she had, I believe, glioblastoma, was it?
No, it was ependymoma.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The 70% of her brain was in cancer. So it was really terrible. She was born in August and diagnosed on Christmas Eve.
Oh.
So not even 4 months old. They immediately, I have to be honest, started with conventional therapies,
Yes.
But if you look statistics, what should be the outcome. But this girl, it's now in first grade in school. She's now 7 without any problem. She's in normal school without any whatsoever, symptoms or whatsoever.
Wow.
So I cannot say she's cured. We don't know. But
Right.
for 7 years, she is perfectly okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that is an amazing story.
Yes, unfortunately, we have more and more kids with cancer also in Slovenia. Osteosarcoma, with genital cancers, with brain tumors, with I don't know what is going on actually, and I hope that this last change on UN, it will, brings some changes on this field as well, because when you are sick, you don't really concern all the laws and whatever, because there are different priorities, like your life, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Can you just say a little bit about what you're referring to with the UN for those that don't know?
The UN adopted new rescheduling of cannabis, and cannabis is not forbidden to use in human medicine anymore. But we have to train doctors. because if physician will not prescribe you cannabis, it's still technically not available. And like for the market in Germany, or the case in Czech Republic, they order 2 kilos of cannabis for the whole country.
For the whole country?
Yes. So it's like nothing. It was 2 years ago when I talked to Jindrich,
Yes.
So therefore, we organize also those scientific conferences, and we train doctors through medical chamber, to educate doctors, because it's a still big boogie-woogie for Slovenian or European doctors especially.
Boogie-woogie.
And unfortunately, and know.
Yes. Yeah. And Bozidar, you've come up with something that's kind of unique, particularly for the North American crowd. I think it's known a bit more in Europe, which is the use of nasal spray. Could you talk about that a little?
Yes. Nasal spray came out now, or it shows it is very effective way of treatment for several conditions, like migraines, headaches, Parkinson's tremor, good night's sleep, good mood, brain tumors, because there are most of CB1 receptors CB1 receptors are very dense in the brains, and especially with brain tumors and so on. It's important that you get as much as possible active compound into the brains. So the best way is to nasal spray, where these cannabinoids can absorb through labial veins and going directly to the brains. All of our, hundreds of patients with glioblastoma, they use it. It lowers also the eye pressure, like for glaucoma, and so it is also very powerful epistatus for kids with severe epileptic seizures, because the conventional epistatus is very hard drug, and then kids are knocked out for days or weeks if they have serial of seizures. And we find out that 1 or 2 sprays, so 5 to 10 milligrams, will stop almost every seizure.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
Yes, and it's but it's too cheap. I think that's the reason. And I always joke in Slovenia, if every woman can have her cure or on the backyard, what can we do? Where we make our money?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, it's my understanding, Bozidar, that there isn't any high associated with nasal spray either. Is that correct?
That is correct. You have to be very careful. 5 milligrams, it's 1 dose. Already with 2 sprays, so 10 milligrams, you can feel quite a lot. So whoever is starting with nasal spray, I would recommend with 5 milligrams, and then increasing not before 5 to 7 days, every 5 to 7 days.
Okay, so
it will knock you out because it comes very quick to the brains.
Okay, so you want to raise that dose slowly then?
Yes, very slow.
Yeah, but with your glioblastoma or brain tumor patients, is it fair to say that almost all of them, if not all of them, are using not only cannabis oil rectally, but also using the nasal spray?
Yes.
Okay. Because when I talk to people about you, I call you the glioblastoma king because you've had so much success with brain tumors.
Corey, we started more than a decade ago.
Right.
And, a lot of people. I met maybe thousands of people in this time, and if you are open-minded, if you are listen more than you talk, then and you have right feedback, then you learn a lot. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
If some people want to be too smart, they don't listen to patients, they don't listen the feedback of patients, and so on. It's harder. So if you collect a lot of experience, we all learn every day. We don't know everything, far from this.
Right. That's why I really like, when we go to Prague and stuff, because there's such an exchange of information.
Yes, it is. And listen, I have to tell you, I'm very lucky. One of my patients, former cancer patients with bone metastasis, prostate cancer, he became partner because we established institute back in 2019, Research Nature Institute in Slovenia. And now we are making cannabinoid profiles for all products on the market, black, gray, whatever. Because we are collecting data, what the people are using on the market,
Right.
And we made thousands of this testing of cannabis. Our lab is on Faculty of Medicinal Sciences in Ljubljana because we have a cooperation agreement. Because we want to learn more. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And also when we collect all this data, we also collect data how the people are using it, how they dosing it, what are their experience, and also what is their success.
Bozidar,
So,
one of the questions we invariably get asked or sent to us via email of people who have a certain ailment, most notably cancer, they always ask, what's the best strain to take? How important are specific strains?
very important. But I would not say specific strains. I would rather say the best results we notice with the mix of more strains or many strains.
Multi-strain oils.
Yes, but they all have to be good extracts,
Yes.
But every strain have a bit different cannabinoid profile. One have THCV, another have more CBC, another have more CBG, I don't know, whatever. And our experience is if you have more strains, there is more likely that you will cover all endocannabinoids which your body doesn't produce, because this is the main problem. We have now, you heard Lumir in Prague, 7 endocannabinoids and 2 cannabinoid receptors.
Yes.
And until we don't have method how to measure the level of these cannabinoids and the activity of your receptors, it's all tapping in the dark.
Yes.
So the best results, as much strains, not 100, I'm not talking, or 3, 5, 6 strains mixing together gives the best result.
Yeah, I would agree. Most of the people that I assist are on 1 or 2 oils, and either a 4 strain or an 8 strain. And for myself, just personal experience, I sure see a huge difference with a multi-strain over a single strain, much higher success rate.
Yes. Listen, maybe one story. One father from my friend, he's a medical doctor. He had prostate cancer with already severe edema in his legs. So I always write down which strains I mix and so on. So I have a little bit of history for the back, And then I gave him another suppositories. It was obviously different mix of strains. And he called me because after first suppositories, this edema disappeared in 2 days.
Wow.
And he was shocked. And then when we changed suppositories, edema came back. So he asked me, what can it be, because father was very good. He was 85 or 6 or whatever. Unfortunately, after that, he died because of stroke. So I go back and I found which strains. I will not make now any commercial. We switched back to this mix to these strains, and edema went away again.
Isn't that interesting?
So, we learned that we don't know much.
Yeah. I feel like with cannabis medicine or as medicine, the more I learn, the more I need to know.
Yes.
Bozidar, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But the point is, until now, we have experienced around 60 to 70% of the people are not cured, but cancer-free, at least for a while, let's say this way. Because it's not up to cannabis, it's up to your endocannabinoid and your immune system. And that's the point.
Bingo, that's true. Very, very true. Bozidar, in Slovenia, what are the laws like with respect to cannabis?
Yes, in Slovenia, it's the same mess as everywhere, It's not against the law if you use cannabis or possess cannabis for your own purposes. But in practice, you can go to jail for 1 gram or you can pay a small fine for 1 kilo. It depends on the judge, on the prosecutor, on if you are from rural area, or from capital. It's very much different.
What about cannabis oil? Are you allowed to have cannabis oil in your possession? Are you allowed to make cannabis oil? What's the laws surrounding that?
Not at all. All extracts still are forbidden in EU. Even CBD extracts are very much gray zone because bureaucrats are bureaucrats, and this convention from 61 forbid all extracts. It doesn't matter on the content of THC or CBD. And now EU is very funny, I don't know how to call it actually, conglomerate. And we have so-called EU food rules. And this is like new food now in Europe, CBD, because it was not used, 20 years back. Because it's funny rules. And it was not used because it was banned. So it's a catch-22, So everything in Europe is actually gray zone. People are fighting on the courts. They are winning on the courts, but still it's a hard battle. And THC is forbidden completely.
And Bozidar, I saw an interview with you just back a ways, I think, but I'm wondering if this still stands true, where you're not allowed to share your joint or hand a joint to somebody or something?
Yes, it's a criminal offense. And you can go to jail for up to, I think, 7 years.
You broke the law with me in Prague.
Many times, my dear Corey.
Bozidar, have you had any altercations with the police?
I was in jail 3 times. So
and I think once I read that you went on a hunger strike.
Yes, that was very interesting. They busted me for a few plants. It was all planned by the police. And I am a Capricorn, very stubborn, And when police took me, I told them, listen, if you don't release me, I will go on hunger strike as long as you don't let me out. So it happened, I was on hunger strike for 82 days.
Wow, that is a long time.
Don't even tell me.
Wow.
And I lost like 28 kilos. I was like this guy from Auschwitz.
Wow.
But definitely they let me out. But the point is, it was a lot of publicity. It was on national television, all newspapers. And the perception starts to change. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
People can see it's really a bullshit. Why to convict or whatever somebody who just want to smoke a joint or whatever.
Yeah. So this is for growing plants.
I think it's yes. I think it's just easy job for police, prosecutors, for attorneys, for judges, to prosecute some user. It's easy, but they don't consider a big crime. So we are just collateral damage in this drug war.
Now, with this hunger thing that you went on, do you have any lasting effects from that?
Yes, of course. It took me more than a year to come back to the normal.
Well, I believe it. Yes. Wow.
They didn't stop us. Right when they released me in December, I organized first scientific conference already in May.
Go, Bozidar, go.
Yeah.
Yes, very stubborn.
Bozidar, if the United States legalizes cannabis, what do you think will be the repercussions in Europe?
I don't know. Europe is completely, it was took over by bureaucrats, And I have experience in Europe. You cannot find in Slovenia even one politician against the regulation of cannabis for medical purposes, for personal use or whatever. I don't like word recreation. Recreation when I play basketball or whatever. It's a personal use, And I am battling now 10 years. I was many times in Slovenian parliament on these committees and so on. And even if committee, tell those bureaucrats, you have to fix this, after 2 years, nothing is done. And then another 2 years, and then new politicians are coming, and bureaucrats, they stay. And they stay for 10 years, and 20 years, and 30 years, And this is the biggest problem. Not the politics, is bureaucracy in European Union.
Mm-hmm.
And this European Parliament, it's like Babylon, nobody understands.
Yeah, I noticed in Amsterdam what they've done, what they're proposing anyway, is to ban foreigners from the coffee shops where they can buy cannabis.
Yes, maybe next time they can put us, this Jew stars on our shoulders or on our arms. It's really stupid. Europe and I think also States and also Canada, it's over-regulated. And this is the biggest problem because you don't have you are not penalized just through criminal law,
Mm-hmm.
You can have problem with social workers. If you are convicted for cannabis, then they want to take your children away because you are drug addict, and so on. The problems in traffic when they take your driver's license away and you cannot go to your job anymore. So another problem for social, so it's a very complex, and they all make money on us, from police to through this testing industry and so on. A very similar story for as we are now just passing with this COVID.
Bozidar, I think it's wonderful the work you're doing and the information that you've passed on, and particularly for probably the thousands of people that you've helped make well. I think that people should really embrace what you've done. And maybe there's someone out there that can fund the work that you've been doing, because I think it's invaluable to the people all around the world, not just in Slovenia, but all around the world. And I want to thank you for everything that you've done. Corey, do you have anything? Go ahead, Bozidar.
Thank you, and I just want to say something. We established some system, and we have also some info office in Ljubljana. Mm-hmm. And in these years, the self-sufficiency with cannabis among cancer patients is around 70%. So 70% all of cancer patients are growing for themselves. Because I always tell them there is no judge that there will prosecute or jail you if you want to help you. And that's true.
If they want to help themselves, yeah. Bozidar, I'm just curious, with children in Slovenia, like I know in the States particularly, and to an extent here in Canada, but not as bad, if you have a child who's diagnosed, say, with glioblastoma, you have to put them through chemo and radiation, or the authorities will apprehend the child and put them through it anyway. Is that the case where you are as well?
You can have very big problems. It's much easier if you deny anything, any procedures or whatever. But for the kids, social workers can jump in, and they will go to quick court, and court will decide that this is the most benefit for your child, and they will put your child on all these treatments.
Do you remember the very first child you treated or helped with?
I have to recall, Corey, it was thousands of people in this. But there was.
How about, do you have one case that stands out particularly? You know how you get those ones where it just blows your mind when they clear? Do you have one that sort of stays in your mind?
Yes, there was a guy, he was then, I think, 10 or 11 with very severe osteosarcoma with metastasis all over the bones, everywhere. Mm. And this doctor told his mother, she is nurse in the hospital in Slovenia, try cannabis. And this guy came a month ago for, maintenance dose with his own car. So after 8 years, he's like new. He's performing sport. He's going now to university in Ljubljana and so on. So those are quite touching,
Yeah. Well, I've got a big ear-to-ear grin on my face listening to that. That's amazing.
Many such cases, But I always present few cases as well, But I don't want to present this as miracles, if you know what I mean.
No, it's not. And we're always very clear about that, in Prague and stuff. This is not a miracle cure.
Yeah. I always say, okay, those people died or whatever. I don't want to, because some people, they say you will get cured or whatever, 100%. Yeah. There is just one thing which is 100%, and you know what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Bozidar, wonderful to talk to you. Thank you very much, and we appreciate you taking time to do this.
Thank you for inviting me.
Bozidar, it was an absolute honor to have you on, my friend. Thank you so very, very much. And let's be optimistic and say we'll all meet in Prague next year.
This year, Corey.
This year,
This year,
2021.
Corey.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you for correcting me.
Corey, I realize you're a little older, but this is going to happen.
Okay, that's enough from you. Thank you so much, Bozidar. Sending you a big hug.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to donate to Cannabis Health Radio, you can do so by going to our website, cannabishealthradio.com, and you can either make a one-time donation or a monthly donation for as little as $5 a month. And if you have an inspiring story, let us know. Also go to our website, and we're always looking for people to interview. And it's becoming more and more difficult with some of the censorship that's going on with sites like Facebook. So if you have an inspiring story about the medical use of cannabis, go to our website and send us an email and tell us about it. And thanks again for listening to Cannabis Health Radio.
Thanks for listening to Cannabis Health Radio. For more information and to search previous podcasts, visit our website, cannabishealthradio.com. Subscribe so you don't miss new episodes. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This podcast is made possible by donations from our listeners. If you found the information helpful, please consider making a donation in any amount through our website. You can also help us share our message by leaving a review on your podcast listening platform. We are very grateful for your support. Thank you.